Mees, Ms. Jammine, welcome to our studio today. I think we cover quite, well, let's say the half of the world being from, I'm based in the studio in Stockholm, you, Mr. Jammine, in South Africa, and Ms. Mees in New York, right?
Yes.
Well,
very welcome and really honored to have you here. Just to have a brief kickoff, what are we actually talking about and why are we going to talk about this particular topic today? Mr. Jammine, can I ask you to share your thoughts first?
Certainly. And I have to say that coming from South Africa right now, I'm in the thick of this discussion. It's quite incredible. Over the past 2-3 weeks, this whole discussion has really taken off in a very big way, partly as a result of accusations made by the US ambassador to South Africa 10 days ago that South Africa had been clandestinely supplying arms to Russia. And that caused the South African currency to fall by 5% virtually overnight. But it has raised this whole question about where should South Africa sit in a world that is increasingly, seemingly being polarized. And never was this illustrated more forcefully than in the G7 meeting that was held in Japan this last weekend, when statements were made to the effect that, you know, it's not just the Russia-Ukraine war that we should be worried about, it's the role that China is playing around the world. And quite clearly what we are seeing is polarization between West and East, or in another parlance, North and South, depending on which way one would like to look at it, in a manner that we have seldom ever seen before.
Yeah.
And this, this discussion about BRICS setting up its own currency and tearing itself away from the dollar world started originally even when BRICS was formed. But it hasn't really gained much momentum and much traction until the past year, where the Russian invasion of Ukraine caused the West to freeze Russian reserves and to prevent the Russians from being able to use the SWIFT system of payments, Society of Worldwide International Telecommunications. And as a consequence, that has sparked the response of Russia was to say, well, we are now going to insist that anyone who deals with us starts paying us in rubles and not in dollars, or mainly
so
other currencies.
The discussion,
and that has, of course, sparked the whole question about whether or not the BRICS should try and form an alternative currency to the dollar for international transactions, and is likely to form a key discussion, be one of the key discussions at the forthcoming BRICS meeting in South Africa to be held in August. That in itself has created a lot of controversy here, because for the BRICS meeting to be held in South Africa, for the leaders of the BRICS countries to come to South Africa implies that Vladimir Putin of Russia needs to visit South Africa.
He can't visit, right?
We know that the International Criminal Court has demanded that he be arrested if he goes to any country that belongs to the ICC, and South Africa is a signatory to the Rome Accord. So South Africa itself finds itself right in the middle of this whole debate. One of the ironies
let me briefly interrupt you for a sec, Mr. Jammine, because I was also wondering, Ms. Mees, in the pre-discussion we had, you said this is not about a discussion on a new monetary union. This is about the discussion on the de-dollarization. Can you elaborate a little bit on that in the current frame where we are actually in right now?